While the tragic sinking of the Titanic in 1912 remains one of the most infamous shipwrecks in history, there have been other maritime disasters that resulted in even greater loss of life. These tragedies were caused by a range of factors, including war, natural disasters, technical failures, and human error, leading to the deaths of thousands. Here, we take a closer look at shipwrecks that can be considered even worse than the Titanic disaster. The Essex Shipwreck. In the early 19th century, whaling was not only a profitable industry but also one marked by numerous tragedies. One of the most notable of these was the story of the whale ship Essex in 1820, a disaster that not only left a significant mark on maritime history but also inspired Herman Melville's iconic novel Moby Dick. The Essex, a 27-meter-long whaler built in 1799, set sail from Nantucket, Massachusetts, in 1820 with a crew of 20 men under the command of Captain George Pollard Jr. Their mission was to hunt whales and collect whale oil, a valuable commodity at the time. However, this would not be a typical whaling voyage. On November 15, 1820, while hunting in the southern Pacific Ocean, the crew encountered a massive sperm whale. This 26-meter-long male whale, in an unexpected act of aggression, rammed into the ship's bow, causing significant damage. But the attack didn't end there. The whale turned back and struck the ship again, sinking the Essex with greater force. Such an attack was an extremely rare event in maritime history, with few documented cases of whales striking ships. As the ship began to sink, the crew abandoned the Essex in haste, taking to 3 lifeboats. Stranded in the open ocean with no land in sight, they faced dire circumstances with limited food and water. Their survival struggle became a desperate battle against the elements, both physical and psychological. The crew spent 93 harrowing days adrift at sea, enduring unbearable hardship. By February 1821, the remaining survivors were finally rescued, but out of the 20 men in the lifeboats, only 8 made it. The others perished, either succumbing to starvation or resorting to cannibalism in an attempt to stay alive. The tragedy of the USS Indianapolis. World War II is filled with tales of bravery and sorrow in naval history, and the tragedy of the USS Indianapolis stands out as one of the most harrowing, marked by its struggle for survival, enormous loss, and a shocking lack of timely response. This disaster is widely regarded as one of the greatest naval tragedies in both the history of the U.S. Navy and the broader history of warfare. The USS Indianapolis was a Portland-class heavy cruiser that entered service in 1932. As an important vessel for the Navy, it was frequently used for key missions, including many in the Pacific during World War II. The ship was involved in numerous high-profile operations, even carrying prominent figures like General Douglas MacArthur. However, towards the end of the war, the Indianapolis was assigned a particularly crucial task. In July 1945, it was chosen to deliver components of the Little Boy atomic bomb to Tinian Island as part of the Manhattan Project, the U.S. atomic bomb development program. Once this mission was successfully completed, the ship headed for Leyte Gulf in the Philippines. Tragically, this would be the ship's final voyage. On the night of July 30, 1945, as the Indianapolis was sailing through the Philippine Sea, it was spotted by the Japanese submarine I-58. Commanded by Mokitsura Hashimoto, the submarine fired several torpedoes at the cruiser. 2 of them struck the Indianapolis, causing it to sink rapidly. The attack was so swift and devastating that the ship was completely submerged in just 12 minutes. Of the 1,195 crew members on board, nearly 300 perished in the attack. However, the real nightmare began after the ship sank. More than 900 men were left stranded in the middle of the ocean, with no rescue equipment or immediate help. As they fought to survive over the next 5 days, the crew faced a horrifying array of challenges: dehydration, sunstroke, shark attacks, starvation, psychological breakdowns, and a lack of coordinated rescue efforts. On August 2, 1945, a patrol plane stumbled upon the survivors and alerted the authorities. Rescue ships arrived soon after, saving 316 men, though many were physically and emotionally scarred for life. The tragedy of the USS Indianapolis is not only remembered as one of the greatest losses in U.S. Navy history, but also as a powerful example of the brutal conditions sailors endured during the war. In 2017, the wreckage of the Indianapolis was discovered in the Pacific Ocean, providing closure and preserving the memory of the ship and its crew. This tragedy serves as a reminder of human resilience and the relentless will to survive, even in the most dire of circumstances. The survivors, though haunted by the events, left behind stories that continue to resonate with future generations. The wreck of the SS Central America. The SS Central America is remembered as one of the most devastating maritime tragedies in American history during the 19th century. Dubbed the Ship of Gold, this steamship made its mark not only because of the enormous gold cargo it carried, but also due to the tragic disaster that claimed the lives of hundreds of people. The sinking of the Central America in 1857 was not just a maritime catastrophe. It also triggered a significant economic collapse. The journey began on September 3, 1857, when the ship departed from Panama carrying a valuable cargo of gold from San Francisco, bound for New York. The shipment, estimated at between 13 and 15 tons, consisted mainly of gold bars and powder. Aboard the ship were approximately 578 people, including the crew and numerous wealthy passengers returning from the California Gold Rush. On September 12, 1857, the Central America encountered a powerful hurricane off the southeastern coast of the United States. This storm's ferocity caused the ship to lose control, with intense winds, heavy rain, and towering waves damaging the ship's machinery. As the steam engines began to flood with water, the crew attempted to pump it out, but their efforts were in vain due to the inadequacy of the pumping system. This situation grew worse as the hurricane intensified, eventually overwhelming the ship's ability to stay afloat. As the engines failed and the ship began sinking, the crew and passengers scrambled to abandon ship. However, there were not enough lifeboats for everyone, and many had to wait in desperation as the storm raged on. The lack of modern rescue equipment only compounded the disaster. By the night of September 12-13, the Central America had sunk entirely, with approximately 425 people lost to the sea. Only 153 survivors were rescued by nearby ships, including the merchant vessel Marine, which played a key role in the rescue efforts, despite the delayed response caused by the hurricane's severity. For 130 years, the wreck of the Central America remained lost to the deep, until marine researcher Tommy Thompson led an expedition in 1987 to locate the ship. Using modern submarine technology, the wreck was discovered at a depth of 2,200 meters in the Atlantic Ocean. The team recovered tons of gold and other valuables from the wreckage, which were later sold at auction. The Central America tragedy not only marked a significant loss of life, but also became a symbol of the perilous risks of maritime travel in the 19th century. We've come to the end of our video, where we've explored some of the largest shipwrecks in history, surpassing even the Titanic. Which of these incidents shocked you the most? Be sure to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.